Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Kel back at it again with another video. And today we are going to be recruiting our Omniversal Orange Lantern Core. That's right, we are going to be doing the Lantern Core that bases its power, has its power derived from the emotion. So they call it an emotion, even though it's not really an emotion. But in these comments, it is. The emotion of avarice, aka greed. Now, originally, I was debating if I was going to do this team or not because in DC Comics, while there isn't really well, in DC Comics, there really isn't an Orange Lantern core. There's really one Orange Lantern member, and the core per se is made out of constructs that that particular member creates, and that member, if you do not know, goes by the name of Larfleeze. Now, Larfleeze is an alien. And according to DC Comics and Jeff Johns, because again, we all know that Jeff Johns created the expanded mythos of the Green Lantern Corps and the corps that followed afterwards. Larfleeze is the only Orange Lantern member, and he likes to go by the name of Agent Orange. Now, Larfleeze is a member who believes that anyone he meets, whatever the case may be, is out to get the power ring from him. He always believes that someone is out to steal his power, right? So because the lanterns of Avarice are about greed, there was a slaughter of some sort to the point where there was only one ring left. And now that he believes that everybody is out to get his power, he made a oath with the Guardians. He made a pact with the Guardians of the universe, Guardians of or whatever you want to call them, that in order for him to not take out his aggression and attack the universe, they would leave him alone. They would not mess with him, which is essentially why the Guardians live in a particular sector in universe separated from Larfleeze, right? But of course, like always, because we need conflict and stuff within these comics, that pact was broken. So he attacked. And the way that his power ring works, it initially gives him the powers of all the other rings. Not like all the other rings, but all the normal functions of a ring, like surviving in space, instant knowledge, and all that other stuff. He has that power, but his ring also allows him to make constructs of all of the people he slaughters, which gives him an instant army, which is another reason why he doesn't need an actual core behind him, right? But if you take that story and the history of Larfleeze and the Orange Lantern Corps, you would see why I was debating if I was going to do this team at all. Because seeing as how that the orange power makes an individual even more selfish and stingy than they originally might have been, and makes them so stingy and selfish to the point where they're ready to kill to steal or kill to keep their power to themselves. A team like that obviously doesn't work, right? Because it's like as soon as you will form a core, you have to form another one, then another one, because you would just keep slaughtering in fear of someone stealing your power or trying to keep the power to yourself. So that's why I wasn't going to build a team. So essentially, I don't think a team like that works, but I'm going to do one anyway, and I'm going to do it in an omniversal style. Why? For a few reasons. The first reason being because while it may not work as a team, I think conceptually, if you want to do like a mini series or like an event, this could actually work well. Especially if you do like different characters, because each character doesn't have the same rules work for them the same way. The rules vary for different characters on how they act, how they respond to certain things, depending on the universe that they're in. So it'll be interesting to see what other characters I could pull and how the ring lore contributes to that character. Because if you look at fiction, there's a lot of greedy characters, right? A lot of greedy, selfish, stingy characters, villains, even heroes that want power for themselves, want fame, want something for themselves, or just or scared of losing it to someone else, right? Secondly, the other reason I'm going to do it is because we all know that the Lantern show that is coming out for DC from James Gunn is coming out this year sometime. I think around June or July, before or after the Supergirl movie. And I wanted to make a team around that theme, around the Lantern Corps team. And it seems that I already did a Green Lantern Corps that's Omniversal. Yeah, sure, I could do other cores that are strictly the cores in DC using strictly DC characters. But I will have to figure that out and think about all the characters that I can use, think about more characters. And I don't want to use up all the characters, right? Because I still have other DC Universe teams I want to do. Like, I want to do a Justice League team. I want to do some villain teams. I want to do some teams that can be dedicated to Injustice because Injustice 3 is supposed to be coming out and stuff. So I don't want to do that. And plus, we're being told, it's rumored or it's been revealed that this show takes place after the War of Lights. For those who don't know, the War of Lights is basically what we got in the Blackest Night event. It's basically the war against the Black Lanterns, where all the other corps teamed up to fight against the Black Lanterns, right? So that means we already have all the other corps introduced within the world of the DC James Gunn verse, right? So why not choose this team? And plus, the only other team I think I'm missing that's a main Lantern Corps team is like the Indigo Tribe. Now, is that the Indigo Tribe or is it the whatever one is Passion or Compassion, right? And I don't know if I'm gonna do them because they're complicated. Yeah, Compassion is easy, but they got more to it than that. I don't know if I'm gonna do it, and I don't know who I'm gonna do. Like I said, this is the first team that's actually ready that I could do and think of. And the characters that I put up here, I think they're fun. I think they could really work, and I want to see how they interact with each other. And like I said, I could do a Blackest Night type of War of the Lights type team, and I plan on doing that. But again, I have to set that up and figure it out. Whereas this Omniversal Orange Lantern team I already got planned. So, like I said, that's what we're going to do today. Today we're going to do an Omniversal Orange Lantern Corps in dedication in dedication to the Lantern show coming out, which I'm really excited for. I'm gonna talk about that if I already haven't talked about it. Like I said, I do these videos in pre-time, so I don't know what I've done and what I haven't done, but yeah, so I'm gonna talk about that if I haven't. I'm pretty excited for that show. But anyway, y'all know what it is. This team, it's going to be a 5-member team, and like always, we can't use characters that we have already used. Any member that we choose for this team, we can't use again, no matter what depiction and portrayal we put them from, whether it be comic, TV show, movie, video game, animation. We can't use them again if we already put the same person. Of course, mantles don't count, but I'm talking about if we use like actual particular individual, of course we can't. But seeing is that this is the Omniversal video, y'all know that basically every franchise, IP, or universe, or whatever you want to call it, is a universe within itself. And the most we can do, since we're using Omniversal team, is 2 per universe. But ideally, I want to use 1 so we can give other characters a chance, right? And with that being said, y'all already know what it is, so let's get into it. And of course, the first person I'm going to choose is Larfleeze. Why? Because y'all all know when I do teams like these, I always want to pull from the original source first, pull from the original member of the original concept. And it seems that Larfleeze is the only Orange Lantern. There's really no other choice but to pull Larfleeze. I mean, sure, I can choose someone in the DC universe who I think will fit for the Orange Lantern Corps, but I'm going to do that probably for when I make the War of Light team. But as far as this team goes, we're just going to use Larfleeze in himself. And I think that's an interesting position because I think Larfleeze is an interesting character, right? Now that I know a little bit more about Larfleeze and his background, well, a lot of the fandom audiences and the DC universe within itself we'll consider Larfleeze a villain. He's a villain, yeah, I agree, but I think he's a sympathetic villain. And I say that because if you don't know about Larfleeze's background, his background is basically he was a slave. He was a slave, then he helped free other slaves, and then he tried to run away with his family. His family got murdered and all this other stuff. So, with all of that background and history, you will understand why he's a little selfish. Even if the ring didn't give an individual that type of feeling, slaves really don't end up having anything. Slaves, when they're slaves, they don't have anything. They're low privilege. They have to work for everything they got. So it was understandable for a character like him to want everything he can get for himself easily as possible, not wanting to have to share. And then for him to have to lose his family, he's he's not. I wouldn't even call that greedy. He wants attention. He wants love. He wants stuff. He feels like he was owned or owed and neglected and rejected from. I can understand that. And then the ring just made it a little bit worse. So, we're to choose Larfleeze, and of course, he's going to be the leader of this team. Well, I wouldn't even give this team a leader because you'll see what I do, but this team really doesn't need a leader. It's not going to have a leader because, again, since how it always works for a core of Orange Lanterns, a leader doesn't really work. But Larfleeze is going to be the first member that we choose. And I think that us doing an Omniversal team and Larfleeze, or Agent Orange as he like to be called, being our first recruit is perfect segue into our second member. Because just picture this, right? Picture, well, for one, let me make it clear that I don't think his entire family was slaughtered. I think some of them are missing or some of them were taken or whatever. So just picture this, right? You know that the DC Universe is one of the main fandoms that deal with the multiverse, right? And no matter how much I hate the multiverse, I can't deny that fact. Can't deny the fact that I hate it. Can't deny the fact that a lot of fandoms deal with it. But let's say that in Larfleeze's mind, his paranoia and his selfishness comes to the terms that, okay, well, since the Guardians are leaving me alone, maybe they're tricking me. They're not really going to leave me alone. And everybody else knows that they can't go against me. So they're finding a way into the multiverse and omniverse or whatever, however the characters in DC Universe will look at that to find other ways or other people to bring in to go against me, right? Which opens the door for other characters. Like our second one being Roger Smith. Roger the alien from American Dad. Now, Roger and Larfleeze, that will be interesting because Roger in itself, I'm not doing, but I plan on doing an article or a video on Roger alone because I used to think Roger had abandonment issues, right? But then a lot of his issues or situations aren't about people. He's attached to things, but it's not attachment issues to people, like I said. He's attached to possessive things, things that he can possess, things that he can hold on to that really don't have no value, but he finds value in them. He's one of the most stingiest people. Like, if you take certain stuff away from him, he's ready to break down. He'll, if you move certain stuff, he'll threaten you. So I feel like he will be perfect for Orange Core. Now, with him having his personalities or personas or whatever you want to call it, and the Orange Lanterns being able to make their own constructs, I want to see how does that work? How would the ring play into his persona? Would his ring go to each persona, or would it only be for certain personas? Will his ring duplicate to make personas? There was the episode of American Dad where all his personas separated. How would that work? And with that being said, if we're doing it like that, if he has all his personas separated and he can still make constructs of everybody he's killed, and Roger's killed a lot of people, Roger's already taking Larfleeze, right? And I want to see that Larfleeze He's an alien, but Roger, he has certain, like I said, each character, each species or whatever, that's different compared and contrasted to the universe that they're within. But it will be a battle of who wants it more, pretty much, more or less. Who wants it more? Who's willing to do more to keep it in their possession or to get what they want? And I think that would be an interesting concept. So Roger is going to be the second person on this team. Now, for the third member on this team, we are going to choose, and I think this one is going to be hilarious. This one is going to be funny. This one, this one right here, I don't think he's much of a thief. It's that like they play with the concept within the MCU and the movies and everything, and I can see it working because of what he actually is, like species wise. But this is fun. This is more of a fun factor pick than anything. It works, but it's more mostly a fun factor thing. And I am talking about Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon. After we okay, so the way they played it in the MCU, like I said, I read maybe 2 or 3 Guardian of the Galaxy books ever. I don't know if Rocket's really a thief. I wouldn't say that. But it seems that he's a raccoon. Raccoons are scavengers. So I want to know if the ring will bring out that part of him a little bit more. Like regrets him from being the genius that he is. To bring him more out of the greedy, stingy side of him. You know, the one who's more of a pirate. The one who's more of a looter. Because he's a looter. It's not a thief. He's more of a trickster. But if it will bring more of that side out of him more. And I want to see how Roger deals with like the mindset and the sarcasm of Roger, or how his mind works when it comes to constructions. You know, because yeah, the Orange Lanterns make constructions to other people that killed, but they can also make regular constructions too, constructs too. And Roger, like I said, he's an inventor. He's a genius. I want to see how he plays with that. And like I said, I want to see just how much, like I said, how much of the scavenger and looter side come out of him due to the raccoon side. But I really want to see that because, you know, with the jokes about him taking someone's eye or taking someone's leg and arm, I think that was funny. Like I said, this one was really just a fun factor. So the third person we're choosing for our Marvel's pick is going to be Rocket Raccoon. Wait, I'm sorry. When I was explaining the thing about constructs and the way he thinks and how he will react to Roger, did I keep saying Roger and Roger? Y'all know what I meant. I meant Rocket and Roger. Look. If y'all paying attention, if y'all following, y'all know that the second person we chose was Roger, and the third person we chose was Rocket. So y'all should be able to use context clues and stuff to figure out who I was talking about, because I was talking about Rocket. So right now we have Agent Orange, Roger the Alien, and Rocket Raccoon, which means we can move on to the fourth member, and our fourth member is going to be Dana from the Slug Terror universe. Now, Dana, when we first seen her, she was breaking into places, going after treasure that she said is rightfully hers due to her father's thing, blah, 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 blah. And then even when she found out that her father's secret hidden treasure that was promised to him was junk, or she didn't know what it was, she was willing to risk her life, lie, and kill others to get to it. Then, after she got hold of transportation, she just started stealing all over Slug Terror. She started taking people's favorite things, people's most valuable things. It didn't even matter. She just started taking all to prove that she could do it. Now, I feel like this was just a challenging act or a cry for attention. But with the power of the ring, I feel like it can increase from she feels like it's a challenge to where she has to outdo everybody. So she'll try to take the rings, or she'll try to take stuff from the universe and the Omniverse and be like, I'm the master thief. And then she can expand that plot and theory from being a mercenary or being like a seller or something. and to become an ultimate power hungry type villain or kingpin type of woman. So we're gonna put Dana on this team. And then the fifth and final member that we are going to choose is going to be Dread from the Max Steel universe. That's right, we're going to use Miles Dread. And the reason we're going to use Miles Dread is because Miles' whole plot. First of all, let's just say one thing. Miles is the best villain in the Max Steel series. I don't care what nobody says. Max Steel villains kind of suck, especially Toxon. Destroyer is okay. Destroyer's goons are stupid. The Elementals are cool, but Miles Dread is the best villain out there. But his whole thing is about stealing energy, stealing weapons, stealing power. Right? And he was trying to steal power from even Max's dad when he was alive, trying to steal power to rise up in the ranks and take over the world or whatever, right? So what if he finds out about the Omniverse and he's be like, wait, there's more types of energy? I have turbo energy, but what energy is more powerful? Can this energy increase my power? He learns the quantum energy, magna energy, chi energy, key energy, the force. He just learns of all these different types of things to the point where he can become more of a ruthless person. And he's more of a person who's all about action. You can see he has no qualms about killing or sacrificing people. So we're gonna put Miles Dread up here as well. Yeah, guys, that's my core. As you can see, like I said, this core, like all my other cores, it was really like a plan of how they fit in where or how they work together or what they could bring to the table. This is more about who are some of the greatest characters I know and what kind of things would they be searching to gain or what would they be willing to do to risk not losing what they have or get more of it. And if you also haven't figured out, yes, Dredd was the character on this team that I was unsure about. For all of those who are new to the channel or whatever, usually when it comes to a recruitment video, there's always one or two members that I recruit that I'm not really sure about. Mostly when it comes to my multiversal, omniversal teams. And for this team, it was Dread. Why? Because, well, for one, Dana was the only girl I have on this team. And y'all know I like giving my female representation more representation. That's one. And her being the only girl, I don't like how it's just only one girl. And especially when she's not the leader, this feels wrong. So I wanted to do another character. And the character I was thinking about is a character I'm reading about in the story that I think will fit. But that character will also fit for another team that I could make, or a few teams I could make actually. And then another character I was thinking about was probably like Jafar from Aladdin. But to be truthful with y'all, I've never really seen Aladdin. Like, I've seen like probably 5-10 minutes of it. That's it. So I didn't want to watch Aladdin and take time on this video even more because, like I said, I have stuff to do, have stuff I need to do, want to do. I'm tired, and this video was already in the process, so I didn't want to pause the video just to go watch a hour and whatever minute movie just to add another member when I already had a member already down and everything. I could have used Dread for somewhere else. Like, if I want to make it on a Max Steel type of team, while there's enough villains on the Max Steel show to make a villain team, none of them will work together, honestly. When they work together, it's always some trouble, and honestly, none of them have synchronized plots or synchronized goals or what they want or what they're looking for. So, cool, let's just go with Dredd. Like I said, he's greedy, he's a thief, and all that other stuff. So, might as well just stick to what I have, right? And ultimately, I guess it really doesn't matter anyway, because like we already established, with the type of power that the Orange Lantern have and the type of motions and mindset it gives you in the normal background and thought process of these characters, a team like this wouldn't work anyway. So hey, if we want to look at this from a team perspective, like a perspective of who will make the best functional team, it really wouldn't work no matter who you. So just pulling these characters for a concept like a what if concept or like a event or whatever, it's still fun to do. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you guys think of this concept. Who are some characters from the different families who you think are the greediest characters who you put on Omniversal Orange at the core? Sorry about the voice, guys. I know y'all can see that the voice is dry, it's cracky and stuff. My voice is gone. It's that type of month where time of the year, I should say, where my voice starts to get cracky, where I start to feel ill, where I start to feel low energy and everything. But I'm trying, the grind won't stop. But you guys know what it is. Let me know what kind of team you want to see next. Let me know how you think about my team. What other members would you have put on the core? Who are your favorite members from the core that I put? What are your favorite stories and stuff about them? And I'll catch you guys later. Deuces.